At a high-profile Gotham auction, Bruce Wayne and Alfred stand among the city's elite. Bruce, unimpressed, scoffs at the items on display, dismissing them as junk. Alfred reminds him that they are not here for the artifacts themselves, but to support the Gotham Historical Foundation, a charity once run by Bruce's own family. As the auctioneer introduces the next item, an antique box dating back to the 18th century, an unexpected bidder makes himself known. The Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, wasted no time confidently offering $50,000 for the mysterious box. The auctioneer, taken aback by the immediate bid, prepared to finalize the sale, but before he can bring the gavel down, Bruce Wayne doubles the offer, raising it to $100,000. Alfred, caught off guard, questions Bruce's sudden interest. The tension in the room escalates as the Penguin raises the stakes to $200,000. Bruce responds without hesitation, increasing it to $500,000. The auctioneer begins the countdown. Before they can finish, the Penguin, clearly irritated, warns Bruce. "You do not want this, Mr. Wayne." But Bruce remains unfazed. "What can I say? Gotham's history is priceless, Mr. Cobblepot." With that, he instructs Alfred to cut the check, declares the antique sold to Bruce Wayne. Bruce declares that they will be taking home their new antique box today, leaving the Penguin frustrated and empty-handed. Back at the Batcave, Alfred can't hide his disbelief as he repeats the sum spent at the auction. $500,000. Batman, unfazed, responds that it was money well spent to support the Gotham Historical Foundation, pointedly reminding Alfred that it was once his family's charity. Alfred remarks that sarcasm is the language of the ill-mannered. Bruce, brushing past the quip, refocuses on the real question. Why would the Penguin be so determined to win this particular antique box? Alfred throws Bruce's words back at him, saying, "Perhaps he felt that Gotham's history is priceless, sir." As they examine the contents of the box, they find an old newspaper article with a headline, "West End Wraith Strikes Again." Batman explains that this was indeed Gotham's history, but not the pleasant kind. Alfred, with his usually dry humor, points out that Gotham's pleasant history would make for a very slim volume. However, the name West End Wraith is unfamiliar to him. Batman explains that it is an old Gotham legend dating back to the 1900s. Prominent businessmen and politicians, the very men who helped build the city, were found murdered in their homes. Alfred notes that this sounds more like a fact than legend. Batman then pulls out a torn white cloth from the box and continues. According to the myth, the victims weren't simply murdered. They were haunted by a ghostly figure, dressed in a white coat, with no face, whose feet never touched the ground. Alfred acknowledges the creativity of the story, but questions why Cobblepot would go to such lengths for this box. Batman, now certain, states that the box contains the identity of the killer. He orders the Batcomputer to pull up a list of West End Wraith's victims, as Alfred hands him a cup of tea. But if Cobblepot was aware of the box's contents, what is his connection to this wraith? The screen displays an article, "West End Wraith Kills Charles Cobblepot." Batman explains, "A familiar one. The only logical reason to want the identity of a long-dead killer is to ensure no one else knows the identity. What are you trying to hide, Penguin?" Suddenly, the Batcomputer blares a warning. Intruders detected. Multiple heat signatures appear at the estate perimeter. Alfred deduces that Oswald Cobblepot and his men have arrived, likely looking to negotiate in their own violent way. Batman instructs Alfred to keep him occupied while he focuses on something far more pressing. When asked about his plan, Batman simply replies, "I'm going to find a ghost." Alfred sighs, lamenting that he wishes Bruce had built model trains like other boys. Meanwhile, outside the estate, the Penguin's men move cautiously through the dark. They whisper among themselves, confirming their instructions. Cobblepot had told them about a servant's entrance just ahead. One of them mutters that a place this wealthy must have some kind of security. Before he can finish, a sudden flash of headlights blinds them. The Batmobile engine roars to life. Panic spreads among the intruders. They immediately recognize the vehicle and shout in terror, "Batman!" Their boss never mentioned going up against him. Desperate, they open fire, but their bullets do nothing. Inside, Alfred watches the scene unfold with amusement. He calmly says that the Batmobile is bulletproof, calling them simpletons. He begins to understand why Master Bruce loves this car so much. Without hesitation, he activates a net launcher, sending it flying toward the intruders in an attempt to catch them. As the goons scramble in different directions, Alfred reports back. He has them on the run. While his men were being dealt with, Cobblepot had broken off from the group. Now he stands at the estate's entrance, working on forcing his way inside. Alfred quickly notices his absence. He explains over the comms. "Goons have disappeared, sir, but no sign of Cobblepot yet, sir. Master Bruce, do you read me?" Batman initiates a crime scene simulation, immersing himself in the past to uncover the truth. As he surveys the projected crime scene, he says that prominent men don't simply get murdered in their sleep without a motive. Alfred asks if he might be projecting. Ignoring that remark, Batman focuses on the first victim, Charles Cobblepot, an investment banker and the founder of Gotham City Bank. There were no records of enemies, no illegal dealings, nothing that would suggest a reason for his murder. Alfred notes that such a clean record is unusual for Cobblepot. Something about this crime scene doesn't add up. The killer wanted them to see something, to notice a specific detail. His eyes land on an object, a pair of glasses. They were in the antique box from the auction. Yet they also appear in the crime scene photos, taken after Cobblepot's murder. That means the killer must have returned to the scene to retrieve them. Alfred questions why anyone would risk being seen just to take back a trophy. But Batman suggests that maybe it wasn't a risk. Someone who could move through these homes unnoticed, someone who was meant to be there, wouldn't be suspected. Suddenly, Batman catches sight of a ghostly figure behind him. He turns back. "I see you!" Without hesitation, he gives chase. As he runs, he says, "5 men killed. 5 men who helped build this city. But they weren't who we thought they were they? They had a secret that got them killed." The chase leads him directly to Gotham's courthouse. There, a statue looms over him. It reads, "To Justice, Henry Wayne." Batman stares at the name, his great-great-uncle. Immediately, he commands the Batcomputer to cross-reference Henry Wayne and Charles Cobblepot. Within moments, the computer responds. One record found. On January 9th, 1510, Justice Henry Wayne dismissed an assault charge brought against Charles Cobblepot. Batman demands to know who filed the charge. The computer responds, Angelina Tatum. Batman immediately recognizes the name. She was a maid. Before he can process further, Alfred's voice crackles through the comms. He's found Oswald Cobblepot. Gunshots ring out. Alfred darts through the halls of Wayne Manor, narrowly avoiding bullets whizzing past him. With a sigh, he grumbles about just having the last set of bullet holes plastered over. The Penguin stands, weapon in hand. Furious, he yells, "Bruce Wayne, you have something that doesn't belong to you!" Before he can fire again, Batman appears, effortlessly disarming him. With a powerful kick, Batman sends him crashing into a table. The Penguin recovers quickly, pulling out a gun. He says, "How much does Wayne pay you to protect him, Batsy?" Batman hurls a batarang, deflecting the bullet's path. Then he answers, "As much as you were willing to spend in that box. You couldn't afford me. No one can." The Penguin yells, "My business doesn't concern you." Batman just says, "The truth always concerns me." Batman slammed the Penguin into a bookshelf. The Penguin knew Batman had seen the box. Some things, he insisted, were better left buried. Batman remained unmoved. Silence is not acceptable. Penguin played his final card. If Batman exposed the truth about Angelina Tatum, then Bruce Wayne would suffer as well. It was thanks to Henry Wayne that these crimes had been handled privately, but Batman refused to accept that. The crimes were never dealt with. Charles Cobblepot, Oswald's great-grandfather, had abused Angelina Tatum, just as he likely had many others. When the justice system failed her, when Henry Wayne failed her, Angelina took justice into her own hands. She became a ghost, Seeking justice for all those that the system failed, she became the embodiment of every woman in Gotham whose cries had gone unheard. But now, Batman would make sure her story was finally told. Later, Bruce and Alfred walk into a cemetery. Alfred reminded Bruce that the press conference was scheduled for the following morning, asking if he was sure he didn't want to attend. Bruce shook his head. This wasn't his story. Thanks to the Wayne Foundation, Gotham's Women's Center would open 3 new shelters and provide free legal aid to those in need, all in Angelina's name. As they approached her grave, Alfred hesitated. He understood the circumstances, but he still questioned whether this was the right way to commemorate her. Bruce, however, had already made his peace. He did not condone murder. He could not judge a vigilante who had done what she needed to protect herself and others. His great-great-uncle had not listened. Gotham had not seen her. That had to change. He placed a bouquet of fresh flowers at her grave. He then says, "We all have to do better. Bruce Wayne will donate money, but Batman will be watching." As they turned to leave, a faint presence remained by the grave. The ghost of Angelina Tatum watched in silence, finally seen. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel